I was doing everything. I was like, yo, everything. Living single. We are living single.
In the
Ooh, and in the 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got my girl.
Welcome back.
Hey, yo, it's Blue, baby.
And it's your girl, Olivia Dope, back again.
Super facts, dope. Yo, welcome back to Blue Dope, y'all. It's episode 9 already. I mean, yo, Liv, they like us. They really, really like us.
Hey, nah, for real, the feedback has been nothing but positive. Y'all know I love positive vibes. We hear you, we thank you, and we are definitely working on implementing many of your suggestions in upcoming episodes, so keep them ears to the street.
Yes, ma'am. But thank you all for rocking with us. I mean, each and every week, your support means the world to us on a global scale because we got people from everywhere checking in. We truly appreciate each and every one of y'all. So continue to reach out. We love hearing from you.
Yes. On today's episode, the one, the only Devale Ellis is joining us to update on his growing family empire.
Did you just say update, though?
Yeah, update. Once again, we're updating on one of our favorite guests. 2017, when we started this podcast, Jeff and Devale were one of our first guests, so it's great to have them back.
Word. I mean, so much has happened since then, and he's still on the rise, an epic rise. So, you know, we love chatting with D, and this episode's conversation is quote-unquote mind-blowing, according to one of our producers. But that original chat, that joint was fire, too.
On a side note, if this is your first introduction to us, and what we do welcome, we encourage you to sit back and listen to our first 8 episodes. You know, rate on Apple Podcasts, comment, share, you know, all that good stuff, because all that helps. And we originally interviewed Devale a few years back, and this is before the viral rise.
You're teasing them, Liv. You're teasing them.
Yep, so you should stick around till the end of the show to find that original audio where you can find it.
Look, we've been talking long enough. Time to let Dude say some words. Yeah, it's a good one, y'all. Really, really good. Without further ado, the multi-hyphenate himself, Devale Ellis, y'all. Hey, yo, what's good, Devale? How you been, man?
What up?
I'm chilling, baby. How y'all feeling? Brooklyn is in the building. What's up?
Brooklyn's always in the building.
Yes.
It's always in the building.
Yes.
Every building.
Yes.
Any block.
Yes.
But no, it's been a minute since we sat down. We basically interviewed you for what I'd like to call at this point, you know, our prep season, right? Our pilot season, if anything. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're here, we're back, we relaunched, and it's crazy because when we look at over these years, you've done so much. So we definitely want to pick this up kind of right where we left off. So that's the direction of where we're going with this.
Okay, cool. I'm with it. Let's get money.
You've done a lot since we last spoke. So just setting the scene, you were right at this cusp of viral stardom. Right before, when we sat down, the moment the viral video with you and Kaz wasn't even born yet when we sat down. So
yeah, it was me and Cairo.
Yeah right, Cairo.
So this is how it happened. This is now if I would have told y'all 4 years ago what I wanted to do, y'all would have looked at me crazy. But I literally decided what I was gonna do and then just really went out and did it. I was at the time I was doing national commercials. I was trying to focus on acting and TV film. And I was getting some bites, you know what I'm saying? I was doing commercials and I was doing co-stars and guest stars on TV shows, but I was constantly getting booked for the same thing. Like I did Mysteries of Laura, I played the ex-con. Blacklist, I played the ex-con. Power, I played the ex-con. The Breaks, I was in a lineup. And I remember when I was doing the Power episode, which was a big deal because it was season 2 of Power, my family sat down and watched. And Jackson, who at the time was only 5, I come up on the screen and he goes, "Damn, Daddy, you always in that orange jumpsuit." That hit me because I'm like, here I am trying to be a different type of black actor, and I'm pretty much perpetuating the same stereotypes that I saw growing up. And my son is watching it. So I told Kay at that point, I said, yo, I'm done with this. I'm going to create my own narrative. And she was like, how? And at the time, Instagram only had 15-second videos. So I told her, I'm going to make 15-second clips of me being a family man to just show me in a different light. Because before that, Instagram only had, I was doing my workout stuff. You see me with my tattoos, lifting weights, doing all this other stuff. So I felt like people only saw me in that light. They knew that I played football. So they was like, oh, he's an athlete. You know, he stays in shape. Oh, he can be a gangbanger. Oh, he could be a bouncer. He could be an ex-con. But I wanted to show them the family aspect. And at the time, Kay was pregnant. So I had pretty much showed Kay giving birth to Cairo. And people started to pay attention to what was going on because I was showing my family. I had talked a lot about the quarrels me and Kay went through as a millennial married couple, because at that point, 5 years into our marriage, we had decided that, yo, everything we was doing early in our marriage was just fucked up. Like, we had no clue what we was doing. Like, we were trying to figure it out. Like, I wasn't a terrible husband, but I wasn't present. I was focused on just trying to provide and try to be everything that I thought a man was supposed to be, but I wasn't present emotionally. You know, I wasn't present as far as being a good partner. I was just, here's the money, I'm working. Here's the money, I'm working. I need you to give me what I need because I'm giving you what I think this is what a husband is. And we were just like, we were just like, you know what? Let's talk about our issues in marriage on social media. Let's kind of like debate about it because it was funny. Like this is going to be part of the sitcom. If I was going to do my own sitcom, the sitcom is going to be about millennial marriage. So I told Kay I was going to do this. Instagram went from 15-second videos to 60-second videos. I started doing 60-second videos of me and Kadeen and her dealing with just having a baby. And then she actually got pregnant right after. So her being postpartum and prenatal at the same time. So I used to make jokes about that, and people was paying, you know, great times. It was amazing. It was amazing. You know about that, Jim. I had told her, I said, listen, I'm going to use this platform the way rappers use mixtapes to create their own narrative and to build their own viral load. And she was just like, what you mean? I said, think about it. All of the best rappers in our generation were all shut down by big time media people. They were all like, oh, you don't got it. You don't got Jay-Z. You don't got it. All these people, the Migos, they all decided like, you know what? Why do I got to wait for y'all? Why do I got to wait for an A&R to come pick me up? Let me just sell my mixtapes, create my own stuff, develop my own buzz, and then they'll come watching. So I said, I'm going to do the same thing with TV. I'm going to do my own social sitcom. That's the hustle. That's Brooklyn right that's there. How we do. I'm gonna just do it myself. So I did that, and the rest is history, y'all. Like, seriously, like I told Kay this is what I was gonna do. I wanted to create a new narrative for myself. I was tired of waiting for these big agencies to come get me. So I just put myself out there, and TV shows, podcasts, movies, and another TV show later, I'm here.
Now, you definitely went from viral to ultra viral. And I think a lot of people that get to that space don't know how to translate it into anything more, right? They get to that certain level and they don't really know how to command the rest of the space. So I want to ask you, how exactly did you take advantage of those moments and turn it into something so lucrative? Because there's a piece there that I think a lot of people are missing when they try to make those jumps.
Well, it's funny you asked that because I owe a lot of this to 50 Cent, right? Remember I told you I worked on Power,
yes,
and I took another role on Power as Omari Hardwick's stunt double. I was ghost stunt double for the last 3 seasons of Power, and I got a chance to work closely because I wanted to work behind a leading male to see what that was like. But while I was there, I had did an episode where 50 was there, and I had did 50 Cent's funeral video 2 years prior. So when he saw me, you know, I saw him. He was like, yo, what's good? You know what I'm saying? Because I had auditioned for that video. He's like, yo, what's up? So we started chatting. And then he was like, yo, you want to get a flick? And I was like, yeah, we'll get one later. I got to follow them. So later on that night, everything was shutting down. It was 11:30 at night. We was there all day. 50's coming through the hallway, and it's him and the PA. Everybody's getting out the way because it's 50 Cent, right? And he's getting ready to get on the elevator. And I'm sitting there because they wrapped me already. And I'm like, damn, this is my shot.
Yeah.
So I go in there and I go to get in the elevator, right? And the PA like stops me and I'm like, get out of here. And I just get on the elevator, right? And 50's like, it was good, yo. And I was like, yo, let me holler at you. I gave him the ill stiff arm. Like, nah, you're not stopping me from getting on this elevator.
You're going to get all the Brooklyn stuff in this episode. Like, God.
Just warning. Don't try it if you're not from Brooklyn. Like, don't try it if you're not from Brooklyn. Warning.
Don't. Don't. And this is all true stories too. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. I'm in the elevator with 50, right? And I'm like, yo, you a bully. And he was just like, he was laughing. I was like, yeah, you a bully, but I'm a bully too. I'm from Brooklyn. So I'm gonna let you know right now, like, I want to be on one of your projects, right? And he was just like, nah, he's like, nah, we're gonna work together. So he hit me with the Hollywood, we're gonna work together, you know, because at this point, I'm just a stunt double. If you 50 Cent, the Amari Harwood stunt double is talking about he want to be in your project, you're not going to pay no attention to him. So he hit me with we going to work together. But he did say this, though. He was like, yo.
The same dude from the casket?
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same dude that was in the 50, the video.
The casket?
He's the same guy. He's just like, this guy, what is this guy talking about? Right. So he was getting ready to get off the elevator. I was going to let him rock, too, right? Like I said my piece or whatever. He was like, yo, follow me, right? So went to his dressing room, right? He's like, what else you working on? And I showed him, I said, yo, I had made these videos. And at the time, none of my videos had gone viral. This was before the video with Cairo had happened. This was the summer before that. So I was like, yo, I'm working on these videos. I'm doing this, you know, blah, 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 blah. He was like, yo, let me give you a tip. He said, you see how in the rap game, you got all these YouTube rappers and they all get famous because, you know, they have one video get famous and they get on YouTube and they go viral. And after that, they don't got nothing. And I was like, yeah. He was just like, make sure you have a catalog so that if your joint do go viral and people come find you, you already have a catalog of stuff that people can say, oh, he don't just do this. He not a one-hit wonder. He does this. That gave me the mental fortitude to stay focused when nobody was watching my videos. Because I was doing videos for a year and a half before anybody was watching. I was getting 700 views, 500 views. Nobody was paying attention. Then I had that video with Cairo go crazy. And before I knew it, I'm like 135,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? I had no clue what was happening. Then I went back to my old videos and all of those videos had hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, this is what 50 was talking about.
Mind blown.
And it was his words. Yo, no, for real, it was his words that made me realize like, yo, I got to just keep putting out content regardless if every piece of content doesn't go viral. You have to provide content so people can be ready for when something does pop. And when he gave me that little advice, I held on to it. And then watching other people like Tyler Perry and Jay-Z and Floyd Mayweather, they talked about ownership and just doing my research in the industry and realizing how I could monetize these opportunities. I was ready. Once I started getting my engagement up and I seen what was happening, I was like, okay, now you're gonna have to pay me for this content. And I was talking to brands, you know what I'm saying? Like I realized that you make more money going to brands and charging brands than you do charging people to get your content. So as long as I have the engagement, the brands want to use my page, you're gonna have to bring the bag. And that's what happened. I was ready for it.
Right. So that moment with Cairo, when you did that video, when you did you say, yo, I got something here when you posted it, or was it an after when, okay, this is really going ultra viral now? Like, did you post it thinking like, okay, I think this is the one?
So what's the funny thing is every video I post, I be thinking to myself, oh, this is the one, this shit gonna hit, right? That's because I script and I write these videos kind of like a writer would a sitcom. I'm like, this little bit is funny. Like this 60 seconds of video is funny. So when I created that video with Cairo, I actually was going through that moment. That moment was a real moment. Like I literally, everything that happened to me that morning happened. And I was like, I got to find a way to tell this story in 60 seconds. And it just so happened that I went to drop Cairo to Miss J's house and nobody was home at the time. So now I want to post a video so that I could post it at the right time, but I got the baby in my hand. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just do it with him here. Like if you watch all of the videos before that, it was just me talking to people. But this one I had Cairo, and it was like I can't let this stop me from posting the video today. So I just posted it with him, and I made sure that my story was within 60 seconds, and it had a beginning, a middle, and an end. I made sure it had an arc. And when people got a hold of it, I think that video got over 130 million views.
Crazy. Between
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. It got shared over 130,000 times. it was bananas. Like I didn't expect that, but I knew that was a good one.
Yeah. So you made a ton of TV appearances, film appearances, doing extra work. And then people started to figure out, okay, all right, he's actually an actor. Like, this is not somebody that just went viral. Like you said, 50 said, have your content ready. You had it ready. This guy is actually an actor. So, with that, how did Sisters come around? Because the funny thing is, I saw you in the airport.
Yeah,
right
you did.
after you auditioned for Sisters. Like, alignment is
right
great.
After audition, we ran
right
into
after
each other.
you auditioned for Sisters, my connecting flight, we were on the same flight. So what were your initial feelings once you got the role?
So this was crazy. Like, people automatically assume that you got to go to a big agency or somebody got to, like, things have to happen a certain way for you to get on TV, right? I've been putting out all of this content, and little did I know that TV producers and movie producers been watching me on Instagram, and there were a couple of casting directors who they know me. They're like, oh, I love this guy and I love his family. So my manager at the time, she was working in, and it's also right time, right place. Like, you always have to be prepared because you never know when the opportunity is going to come. There's another show on BET Plus, what's on BET right now, called Bigger, right? And the casting director for Bigger reached out to me because she follows me on Instagram and was just like, hey, I think there's a role for you. I think you'd be good for it. I went and auditioned for it. Long story short, I didn't get that role. But when I was in that meeting, she told me, like, listen, you're doing something really, really great. Don't ever stop. And my heart was broken because they flew me out. I tested for the role and everything, but I didn't get it. And then 2 weeks later, same thing happened for Sisters. My manager said, hey, the casting director said they have a role for you. It would be, be good, blah, 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 blah. I submitted a self-tape. After I submitted a self-tape, got a phone call back and said, hey, this is Mark Swinton from Tyler Perry Studios. We would like you for the role of Zach. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, I just like didn't get a role. I was heartbroken. Then submitted for another role, got it. And then I got a phone call from Bigger, and it was just like, hey, we have a role for you on Bigger. It's a guest star appearance on this episode. So I ended up booking both TV shows.
Nice.
Part of the reason why I think that's important for people to know is because when it came down to me and this other dude for the Bigger role, it was me and Chase. And we were going back and forth. We were auditioning back and forth. We stayed there. And when they told me they were going to go with Chase, I reached out to Chase. And I was just like, yo, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? And we kept in touch. And even he said it. He was like, yo, it's very rare in this industry where two people are going up for a role and one person gets in and the other person is cool with it. But I honestly feel like what's for you is for you. Like, there's a reason why I didn't get that role. And part of the reason why is because it was meant for me to be on Sisters. If I would have booked that and been a series regular on that, I couldn't do Sisters. And then if I couldn't get Sisters, I wouldn't have been on both shows. But now I'm on both TV shows.
Nice.
So it's like, it's no reason to like be mad at somebody or hate or be like, oh, this person stole my role. Whatever role is for you is you. If somebody else gets it, that's for them. And I honestly believe that. So it's just keeping my head down, staying focused on the prize, and just keep running.
I hear that. That's a story. Like, because when I saw you in the airport, I was like, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
This audition, you were like, yeah, you got to keep it on the hush. I'm like, okay, but that's what's up.
Every time you see Devale, he got some top secret joint that's about to happen.
That's
every time. And going into just the idea of getting to work with Tyler Perry, I think his track record shows everything he touches turns into gold. So your first day on set, did you feel that automatically that day one?
Shoot. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I was kind of overwhelmed by everything that was going on. I mean, the funny thing is, I found out that I booked in July. They told us that we were going to be filming at the end of July. Wow. Then I found out we were going to be filming 25 episodes in 3 weeks. So I didn't even have time to. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I didn't even have time to relish in the moment because I was kind of like, I got to learn all these fucking lines, bro. Like, wow. Fuck being starstruck by this. I got to know this shit. So, yeah, it was time to go to work. And it reminded me a little bit of the NFL. Like, in the NFL, you got 3 weeks to impress coaches and impress all 32 teams. And you got to put your best foot forward. So I played in the league for 4 years, and the entire 4 years, you're focused on trying to keep a job. So people was like, "How was it playing in the NFL?" It was stressful because I had a fucking work to do. But it was work, you know. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, I did that. Like I can't believe I did that. But working with TP was the same way. Like that first season was a whirlwind. Like I don't even remember the first season. It happened so fast. Right after we wrapped was the grand opening for his studio. And when I tell you, Jim, I'm opening the studio. They open the studio doors, right? And I'm next to Jay-Z, Diddy, Ludacris, Beyonce. You want to hear a funny story? I'm gonna tell you a funny story, bro. Me and Kay are walking down this 300-yard red carpet, the longest red carpet in the history of red carpets, right? All of the studios.
There's a lot of acres
for the
out
premiere
there.
of the studio, yeah. It's 330 acres, right? So Cicely, Will Smith, Halle Berry, Whoopi Goldberg, Spike Lee, everybody who's anybody was there. Just think about that. This whole sea of people, right? And everybody's in the same room. And I'm like, yo, I'm here. And I'm saying to myself, I do not deserve to be here. Like, what did I do to be amongst all of these great people? That's how I'm feeling, right? But then I'm from Brooklyn.
That's right.
Like, man up. Like, you belong here, right? So now we walking down the red carpet, right? Me and Kay walking down. This is what we do. This is what we do, right? So me and Kay walking down the red carpet, right? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm saying, so I'm looking to my right, and it's Diddy, and Diddy's looking up, and he got this look on his face, and he grabbed Ludacris, and they like, I ain't never seen no shit like this before, and I'm like, if they saying this, so then to my left, and we from Brooklyn. To my left, I see a tall 6'2.5", 6'3" figure. It's Jay-Z, right? It's not right next to him. Right next to him is Beyonce in a yellow dress. And you know Kay love Beyonce. I don't know a woman who don't love Beyonce, right? So I'm like, yo, Kay, go say what's up to Beyonce. And she's just like, no, I can't. No, I can't. So I'm like, yo, stop being a punk. Go say what's up to Beyonce. She says, go say what's up to Jay-Z. So I was like, fine. I'm saying so. I walked up. I was like, yo, Ho, what's up? I'm from Brooklyn, son, from Flatbush. Canarsie, what's up? He was like, that's what's up. This is very nice. This is very, very nice. And I was like, yo, Jay-Z fucking spoke to me, son. So then I ran back to Kay. I said, what's up? Go say what's up to Beyonce. She froze and she couldn't say nothing to Beyonce. But I freaking was like, this is crazy. Then I seen Will Smith.
Ooh,
I seen Will Smith.
That was a moment.
That's your guy, bro. That's your guy right there.
Bro, when I tell you, it was like a moment. I will never forget that moment. Like I was starstruck. I'm surprised I didn't pass out. And Will was like the nicest dude. Like he sat down and just talked to me for like 10 minutes, and he was just laughing, and just being Will. Nice. And I was just like, yo, I'm here, and I'm here with all of these people. Like it was crazy. Like it was crazy, but it made me feel like I belong. You know what I'm saying? Like I belong here. So I've been working ever since that. That was 2 years ago. I've been working nonstop.
I'm gonna ask you a random. Did anyone there recognize you that surprised you? Was anyone like, yo, that's that Devale dude right there? Like, did that happen? Bro,
almost every person in there came up to me, whispered in my ear, and was like, bro, I love what you do, bro.
Wow.
When I tell you, it was...
That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah.
T.I., Tiny,
wow.
Diddy came up to me, was like, bro, you got 3 sons, I got 3 sons.
What?
Diddy!
What?
Bro, I didn't realize, y'all. I didn't.
You know, as human beings, we kind of forget, like, yo, when we are our authentic selves, everybody gravitates to it because it's real life. It is real life. And we want to see Black, successful, strong families. We want to see that. That's the content we need. So, yeah, people are going to embrace you, the Ellises, because we haven't seen that in a very long time. And it's absolutely necessary, especially in the world that we live in.
Speak on it.
Bro, I appreciate that. Yo, dope. I appreciate that. But it was shocking to me at the same time.
Crazy,
like
bro.
you're speaking 1,000% facts. But when you're around all these people who you've watched your whole life, and then someone comes up to you like Kyla Pratt comes up to you and just be like, "I love y'all guys," and you like, me?
Yeah.
Like you love me? Like when Diddy says, yo, King, you know what I'm saying? I see you. You got 3 kings. I got 3 kings. It's like
crazy.
Me?
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's like me,
Yo,
but
you Diddy.
It's inspiring. Yo, I am Diddy. But I told Kay that I was Diddy, and Kay was just like, no, you got one wife.
You Devale.
Diddy got 3 different baby mothers. All right, you not Diddy right now. You Devale.
Don't get it
I was
twisted.
like, all right.
That's because Kay from Brooklyn too.
I'm like, all right, I'm not Diddy.
Relax.
Oh my gosh, but it was amazing.
So in terms of sisters, okay, cool. You're doing 25 episodes in 3 weeks. Bang, 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 bang. Mm-hmm. Season 1 comes out. Are you the type to actually just watch the episodes? Like, do you watch your work? Are you analytical as you do it? Are you just enjoying it? I knew you would because you're an Aries.
Yeah, so you already know what it is. April 2nd. I don't enjoy nothing. I'm sitting there like this with a notepad. Like, I didn't believe that moment. What was I fucking thinking in that moment? Like, why would Zach say that? Zach would not say that. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I can't, like, I watch myself and I critique myself the most because I want to be honest and I want to get better. Like, I listened to Will Smith. Y'all, I know everybody here has watched the Fresh Prince reunion. And he talked about how bad he was his first couple seasons on the Fresh Prince because he wasn't a thespian. Like he wasn't trained. Yeah, he wasn't classically trained. So he was watching. He was just like, I was just out there having a good time.
The best part was when he was mouthing the other people's like words, like, and we would have never noticed that until that reunion.
Oh shit!
Yo, But you know what? That's a credit to his work ethic because it shows that he didn't only learn his lines; he learned everybody's lines so that he could know his cue. And I watch the same way. I just want to make sure that I get better every time. Like I learned this from football. You know, the only way you can get better is through introspection, from watching yourself. You know, holding the mirror up and saying, "What am I doing wrong? How can I change?" And in this case, I don't have to hold the mirror up. I can just turn on BET every Wednesday at 9:00 and be like, I missed that moment. Let me fix that next time. Let me change this. Let me change my cadence here. So I watch with a very critiqueful eye.
Now, I mean, Zach comes off very Devale-ish, right? And I think that's something that your social media following might really enjoy. So in regards to even speaking about like a Will Smith and him studying everyone else's lines and having all of that down, with the show, how much of it do you get to put in as your input to the script? Right. And how does that kind of flow with the rest of the cast?
Well, I think it's important for people to realize that when you play a character, a little bit of yourself comes out in every character. Mm-hmm. So when a person casts you for a role, they don't unless you're doing a biopic or you're playing someone like a character of someone, they cast you because you fit what they wanted in that role. So one thing I've learned is one of the best critiques you can give an actor is, oh, that's just Devale being Devale. That means that I'm being natural in the moment and you can believe those moments on television. In this case, with playing the role of Zach, I get to be the comedic relief on the show. Yes. So I get to ad-lib a little bit. I get to add a little bit of myself. Nice. I inputted that he's from Brooklyn because I wanted the character to have a little bit of a Brooklyn swag. So Tyler gives me that leeway, and he allows me to do that within the scope of the script as long as I'm telling the story is good. So I get a chance to flex my comedic muscle, which is what I always wanted to do, kind of like Will, like Martin, like Jamie Foxx. So it's fun in that time. And, and hopefully I get my own spinoff at some point. I get my own TV show.
Yeah, for sure. I see it in the future.
And I mean, there you go.
That's what I'm talking about, dope. That's what I'm talking about.
Put it in the air.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's out there. It's out there in the universe now. It's happening.
There. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I mean, one of the big things is it's definitely called Sisters, right? And it's to show that the focus is on this journey of these women. But, you're there, you're Zach. And I think over watching from season 1 into season 2, we've definitely seen more Zach. So so I could understand even more of how TV really works. How do the writers then choose, all right, this character we might need to kind of change and put this character here and there? Is it based off of just fans' reactions? Is it the Team Zach hashtags? Are they counting this stuff nowadays? Because you made it, right? You're here on a show, but how do they pick you out in certain cases?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how much social media goes into the play, but I do know this for a fact. Every time a show goes from season 1 to season 2, there's always an expansion of characters. And we either learn more about characters that existed in an ancillary position, or they introduce new characters. And in my case, I guess they decided to highlight my character this season for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it is social media or if they like my performance or if that was always the plan. But I will say this: I'm very appreciative of all the people who continue to support and hashtag Team Zach. That can only help, not only with the writing, but also other opportunities. Because there's other producers who watch and say, you know what, they like this guy. What is it about this guy that everybody likes? So I will give the power to the people. I will give the nod to them and say, listen, if y'all really want to see more Zach or more anybody, if y'all talk about it, that's what's going to happen.
Nice,
right.
Nice.
The people have that power. We've seen so many situations where shows have a character that gets killed off too early and people protest. Family Guy, Brian the dog was killed off the show. I don't know why that popped into my head, but they
she
killed
said Family
off
Guy.
the dog.
That hurt you, huh?
I was like, what the hell? Why would y'all do that? So they had to bring him back. They brought him back from the dead.
That's hilarious. The funny thing is, I didn't watch Family Guy. But that's funny. Now that makes me want to go see it, though. I want to see they brought this dog back from the dead. That's crazy. I know for a fact Urkel was the same way. Like Family Matters was about a middle class Chicago family, and then Steve was supposed to be in 2 episodes, and then after that the show was called Urkel. Like people watch Family Matters, but they used to say like, "You're watching TGIF Urkel coming on." I don't know. Hopefully I've impressed enough people and I've imposed enough of myself on people where they say, we watching Zach. Not to take away from the sisters, because the show is called Sisters, and a show about 4 Black women, trying to navigate life and love and careers is needed in this day and age. So I definitely don't want to take away from that, but I'm excited about my opportunities that's coming from this. So thank y'all and everybody who supports.
Talking about the show. We done seen last week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is going to be now 2 weeks after the episode with Danny, the showers, and the selfie.
Yes.
Was that your first time doing a sex scene for TV or film?
No,
it's not. It wasn't.
He got joints now.
I am.
You got bodies.
So this was remember season 1 I had did 2 sex scenes with Karen, but it wasn't as explicit as this sex scene.
Right.
On the I'm gonna give y'all an exclusive on the series Bigger. I come back in season 2, and in season 2, I'm recurring and I have a love scene with my co-star. But this was the most intense love scene I've ever had on TV history for myself. This was the most intense.
Just the character setup for it. Like we kind of had this whole thing because I watch the show, and the dynamic between the two of you was always like she's kind of like trying to throw you the hints, but you was like, all right, sis, like you kind of
right
friend zoned her. So for this to happen, I think what made it different is because the audience wanted to see this for a very long time, and the way it played out, it was like, yes, hallelujah kind of moment.
Well, I mean, no. Well, me and Fatima always had a sexual chemistry. Danny that was season 1. That was when I was the best. She's my best friend. She was my homegirl, and that didn't happen because Danny ended up with Rodeo. But me and Fatima, there was always a sexual chemistry there, and that happened before. But this was the first time that it happened to this extent. Like I feel like this is one of the few relationships you see on TV that's not like toxic. Like she's a Black woman in a position of power who's trying to empower a Black man who's been convicted of a crime in the past and just trying to get his life together. And I think that it's exciting for people because they're like, wait a minute, this is the first time we see a Black woman on TV and she's not talking down to a man. She's not doing this. Like, and when it comes to millennials, we haven't seen this type of relationship since Martin and Gina, since Will and Lisa, since Heathcliff and Claire, since Harriet and Carl. Like, if you think about what we grew up on, sitcoms were not big in our, in our like young adulthood lives. It was all reality TV. So reality TV was popping when we were in college and we were in high school, and a lot of the relationships were based on toxic situations because that's what was selling. And even if the relationships weren't toxic, producers made it toxic so that they can sell. And that's a large reason why Kadena and I never went into reality television. We got a ton of offers to do reality TV, and we were just like, nah, I'm just not trying to perpetuate that stereotype. And I probably would kill somebody if they misrepresented my family in the wrong way. I'm not with that. But when I look at Twitter and I see what people say about Fatima and Zach, it's always about, especially men. Men are always saying like, it feels good to see a woman just say to him, you know what, you're not where you need to be right now, but I can help you get there, and I'm gonna rock with you while you do that.
I'll hold you down.
And it's good to see women on Twitter saying like, yeah, I would hold my man down like that if he showed me that type of potential. And I'm like, this is real. Like this happens. Like they don't like to show it.
Mary love.
Exactly. You're all I need. It's that you're all I need love. Like and I think it's dope. And I feel like that's what people want. It's even Insecure. And I can appreciate the struggle a little bit, but Insecure was kind of like the opposite. When Lawrence was going through his shit, Issa, she cheated. And she's like, yo, I'm out. Like, I can't carry you no more. And then Lawrence got on his feet. And when he got on his feet, then Issa was like, damn, I want that old thing back. And if you understand the history of Black culture and Black love, you can't knock Issa for doing that either. Like, if you on your hustle and you out here trying to get it, and it seemed like the dude that you with is kind of sitting on his ass, why am I sitting here carrying you? Like, I need you to get up. So, we saw that. And we saw that in Insecure. I feel like Zach and Fatima is what people want to envision for themselves. I'm struggling, you struggling. We're going to struggle together, but we're going to empower each other and make something great out of it. So I think that's why people love it.
Now, I think people definitely kind of focus on them sexual scenes, right? And I got to ask, like, when you think about method acting, right? How much do you have to be in that scene to do it? Or do you got to think like basketball to kind of even keep it professional? Like how hard is it to do a scene like that?
That's funny. How hard is it? No pun intended. But,
oh, by the way, my bad. My bad. I kind of messed up because I said Danny thinking Fatima. That was my bad. I was like getting everybody confused. But yeah, that's cool. I meant Fatima. Yeah, it's
cool. But I'm naked, she's naked. But I will say this though, right? There's nothing sexy about doing a love scene in a room that's filled with men with cameras and 6'5", 260-pound Tyler Perry screaming, get the light, move the light to the right, pick her leg up, make sure you get a hit, Devale, I can't, you're in the shot. There's nothing sexy about none of that. Like,
oh man,
people think y'all just be in a room, you know what I'm saying, with hidden cameras. This shit don't be hidden. These cameras be like right here, and then you gotta like hold her up, and then you be like, lean this way, get the shot. Okay, now kiss. Man. Okay, stop. Move. That's not sexy. Think about
and Tyler Perry in the back looking like Montel Jordan, 6'5", just.
You know what I'm saying? 6'5", like, and then there's an intimacy coordinator, so there's a woman there present to make sure that everything is, because
intimacy coordinator.
Because the lines can get blurry. Yes, they're necessary to have.
This is why it's important. Very, very necessary, because the patriarchy has made it that women have been taken advantage of in these situations with male writers, male directors. They saying, "Oh, I'm gonna write this in here," and you as a female actor have to participate in this scene a certain way, or because it's in the script. And then there's nobody to speak up or represent for the young lady in the script. So now they have intimacy coordinators to make sure that no lines are crossed. I'm taped up. Okay. She's taped up. Like there's it's not like people think. Yeah, it does. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like they put, it's a band that goes here. It wraps around your joint and they tuck that joint back. Like it's not. No, it's not a jock strap, and it's not comfortable. It's really
it's painful.
That's why people be like, Yeah, it is painful, and people be like, oh, I bet you he enjoyed that.
Not
I
at
bet
all.
you she enjoyed that. I'm like, go ahead, go ahead.
People need to know this.
No, for real, because they also ask Kay. They be like, how could Kay put up with that? I'm like, I bet you if I take my joint up and go in the room right now, Kay gonna be looking at me like, bro, come on, son. It's nothing sexy about it, bro. It's not. It's just not. I'm sorry to burst your bubbles, but the shit ain't sexy. Like, it's not.
I'm still stuck on intimacy coordinator. It's a lot going on in that
It's
scene to
a
make it
real
happen.
thing. You gotta okay. So understand
It's
it
a
like
lot.
this. It's to a point where women, speaking for women in the workplace and stuff like that, and especially in that space where it's creative, so people can take creative liberties and take it to places where you might not be 100% comfortable. And sometimes in those moments, as a woman, yes, I'm working, but is it okay if I say I'm uncomfortable? Would I make this uncomfortable for everybody else? So there needs to be that somebody there to, yo, sis, you okay?
That intermediary. There you
go. Boom. I like the way you explain that, because I'm gonna give you an example, right? We're doing the sex scene. Every move you've seen in that sex scene was scripted and practiced prior to getting there. So you won't ever see someone just randomly grab a boob and be like, oh, I was in the moment.
Wow.
Because when people are taking creative liberties over someone else's body, it's easy to say, oh, I lost myself in the passion of being a method actor, so I just put my fingers in her cooch. No, you're not doing none of that, bro. All of this stuff is practice and rehearse.
Okay.
And you have writers and you have waivers. I don't feel comfortable being touched here. I don't want to be licked here. I don't want to be caressed here. I'm only comfortable showing this and showing that. And I'm going to be honest, as a man, I feel protected because that's there.
Yes.
Because no one will ever come back and say Devale took advantage of me in this situation. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a creep, maybe I'm pissed about it. But since I'm not a creep, and I never want anyone to ever come back and be like, oh, Devale took advantage of his creative liberties during the sex scene, I'm like, no, you can't say that. Because all of the stuff that we did, there was an intimacy coordinator there. You approved everything. We rehearsed it. So you can kick rocks with that. So I love having an intimacy coordinator.
I mean, in that same note, did people overreact when Lala did her thing and they were thinking about Mello? Do you think that was an overreaction from? Listen, bro. I'm gonna be honest, bro. People love to hate when women have any liberties over themselves, bro. Like, Lala is a grown woman, right? She's a grown woman. She's an actor. Right? It's part of the craft. At any point, if Lala said she did not feel comfortable about doing something, it would have been taken out. Right? At any point, if that's her husband, if she wanted to have that discussion with him and he says, I don't feel comfortable with you doing that, that's a discussion for them to have and them to say, you know what? We're not going to do this because I don't feel comfortable. Yep. The fact that it was on TV and her as an actor, enjoy the fact that she went to the craft like that. All these people saying like, oh, she disrespected Carmelo. Stop. No. Just stop. Anytime a woman takes liberties over herself, people have issues. There you go.
They have issues. Men have been doing sex scenes in TV for a long time.
True.
A long time. That's how we become sex symbols. I tell Kay all the time, I want to be a sex symbol. I take my shirt off every other day because I want to be a sex symbol. Are people going to say I'm disrespecting Kay? No. But let Kay show some titties. People gonna be like, I can't believe, oh my God, Khadijah's showing titties. People can kick rocks. People come at Kay when she take a bikini pic. Like, she took a picture in a bathing suit one time, and they came in my DM saying, this is what your wife is doing. I'm like, bro.
People really think they have liberties to do anything and say anything because they feel like they know you on social media. People are weird.
No, I will say this though, right? As a quote unquote celebrity, because that's what when you have a certain amount of followers, you consider a celebrity, right?
You're a celebrity,
but
bro.
Celebrities have to realize too, when I'll receive it. Receive it. I don't think so. I was standing next to Diddy and Jay-Z. Them niggas are celebrities to me. So you know what I'm saying? But when you put your life out there and you ask people to support you in your endeavors, right? Mm-hmm. Those same people who are willing to spend their money to support you, they're entitled to give their opinion about the things that you put out there. You can't then be mad because people have opinions about what you put out. You put
True.
out there. Those are the same people that you saying, yo, spend $20 and buy a hoodie. You know, buy my t-shirts. Watch my show. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Watch my show. Do this, do that. Those same people that's gonna spend money to support me, I embrace your opinion. I may not agree with it.
True.
And you're gonna have to deal with the fact that I don't agree with your opinion and I may not listen to you, but I can embrace the fact that you have one and you're entitled to one as long as you continue to support. And I'm not mad if people who disagree with me, like I'm like, you disagree with me, you disagree with me. I disagree with a lot of people, but it is what it is. Now, disagreeing with me and giving me an opinion and attacking my children or attacking my wife, those are different things. Those are weirdos. Those are weirdos. And those are people that you got to watch out for. But someone who just says that they don't agree with something, yeah, someone who just says they don't agree with what I'm doing, all right, that's cool. Like, okay, so Kay want to show some titties in the show, and you don't agree with it? Okay, I had a shower scene. You don't agree with me being married and having a shower scene? Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do another one in 2 weeks. So
get ready.
If you're watching, I appreciate it. Get ready to episode 18.
So with that being said, how is Kay in terms of like, okay, y'all sit down, new episodes of Sisters coming on and boom, shower scene. Like you've had this conversation, like y'all are cool in terms of like, okay, being completely transparent. Like how does that break down for you guys in terms of keeping it open and honest, but understanding it's just work?
It's two things. The first thing is I always tell Kay, so she's never, caught off guard. There's never a moment where she's going to be watching TV and say, I didn't know this is what was happening. You know, this is my life partner. This is someone who is going to be sharing everything with me until the day I die. So if anyone's going to know about something, it's going to be her first. That's number one. Number two, I make sure that she knows the process. She and I both know about my nudity writer. She knows about the intimacy coordinator. She knows what the scene is going to look like. She also knows that my shit is going to be taped and tucked. So she knows, like, she's not worried. Like she knows for a fact that this is not a time for me to accidentally sleep with someone else. Like she knows what it is. And when you understand the process as an actor, it's kind of like, I'm not really concerned. You know, it's not the 90s anymore. People ain't just randomly having sex in the middle of a scene and filming it. Like, that's not... times have changed.
I'm going to tell you one funny thing, man. I think you were probably in ATL Tape D, and I went over to CK and Jackson, and I'm sitting in the living room, and she's literally telling Mr. Joseph, yeah, D got his sex scene today, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just so regular. And I was sitting there like, what? I guess she just chilling with it, but she knew about the tape. I didn't know about the taping. The tape.
I think in part two, me and Kay been together since 18.
Yeah.
So she knows what I want to do with my life. So when you love someone so much that you get excited about seeing them live their dream, nothing can get in the way of that. You know what I'm saying? Like she's watching me live my dream. So she's just excited for me no matter what it is, especially since I include her in everything. I don't know if you guys see, but my co-stars come here all the time. Yeah. Like there has to be a transparent moment where, Kay, this is my love interest for this season. We got 25 episodes. We're going to be spending 3 weeks together on campus. I need you to know what it is. She needs to know what it is. Because when you have that type of cohesion in a group of people that work together, there's no miscommunication. There's no why is she looking at you like that. You know, you can reach out and call her and ask her. And I got nothing to hide. So since I don't got nothing to hide, I'm like, good, y'all talk. I don't care. Yeah. I really don't. Like, one thing I am not worried about is a scandal, because my family is too important to me. My wife is too important to me. My kids are too important to me. Like, I really just want to be great at what I do. And I don't want anything else to get in the way of me ascending to heights beyond what I imagined as a kid. And I know a scandal can do that. I know drugs and alcohol can do that. I like, there's certain things I just don't want to be involved with. And that's one of them.
Since we're already talking about Kay, let's talk about dead ass. You guys are having public couples therapy right in front of us. How has that impacted your growth as a relationship? And I want to make sure I say growth, because we as an audience do see the change in dynamic in terms of you guys have become stronger, like that energy
Yeah.
exudes. So like, how did Deadass come about? Was it a conversation over dinner? You guys always wanted to do a podcast, but the timing wasn't right. Like, how did that come about?
Yo, real talk, I had no idea about podcasts at all. I had none at all. And I was doing the videos, like I said before, Kay and I were doing the videos, and we were having our scripted marriage arguments for 60 seconds because that was part of the scenario that I wanted to build for the social sitcom. And underneath the comments, some videos have 4,000, 6,000, 8,000 comments. And my manager at the time was just like, yo, this would be a dope podcast. And I was just like, what is a podcast? And then they explained to me how it works. And then I was just kind of like, well, Kadeen does want to get into TV, but she wants to be a daytime TV host. And part of the problem is that when you're a woman, people automatically go to what you look like. And I said, we will never be able to get people to pay attention to how intelligent Kay is if they're only looking at her first. So I was like, let's use this podcast to discuss the things that we're talking about in these videos. And we ended up doing a deal with Stitcher. That was 2 years ago. Tiffany, shout out to T Square. She actually came to us with the idea. She said, I can build it like this. She helped us produce it, helped us put everything together. Like, she was very instrumental. And we were actually the first all-black podcast to be done on Stitcher at that time. And it has been good for us because, like I said, early in our marriage, we were doing marriage all wrong because we had these preconceived notions of what marriage was supposed to be. We had all these archaic ideas of what a wife and what a husband was supposed to be. And the one thing we kept saying to each other was, if someone would have told me in the beginning of my marriage what to look out for and what not to do, we would have been better spouses early on. So we were like, why don't we just do that? Why don't we just take time to reflect on the mistakes that we made early in our marriage? And hopefully we can help some people. And then through that, we continue to grow because we can speak out loud and also listen to what people are saying. And, there's some challenges with that because, of course, when you're speaking about mistakes that you made in your marriage, people want to take that and take that one thing that you said and make that what your marriage is about. But that's par for the course. That comes with anybody. You have a podcast. Y'all know what it is. If you say one thing, people want to take that one thing that you said and wrap it and say, this is what she is. Mm-hmm. This is what Blue is. And it's like, you took one piece out of a piece. So I've learned to take the good with the bad. But this is my ministry. This is Kay's ministry. Like, we don't have a church home where we can go and speak to young people. So this is how we speak to the masses. And hopefully we help people along the way.
Beautiful. Let me tell you, I get brownie points with my family because they follow you guys like hardcore. So, you know them? I'm like, yeah, I went to college with them. Yeah, I was in high school. What you saying? I get brownie points because my family is so family oriented. I mean, I'm not married, but most of my cousins are married. So they see somebody in our age group that is just preaching in terms of, yo, this is what marriage should look like. It's not about our marriage and we're goals. The goals is being transparent. The goals is being super family oriented. Family comes first. And us millennials need to learn and realize that and figure out how to do it as a millennial. So like,
Liv,
yeah.
Liv, you've known me since college. It would be unfair for me, right, at 36 years old now, for people to see how my family is now and say, this is Devale and this is how I've been since 18. It would be unfair for me to put that expectation on any man for a woman to say, how come you can't be like Devale? Because that's what a lot of men get. A lot of men be like, how come you can't be like Devale? So what happens is I don't mind telling people about the things I did and the mistakes I made when me and Kay were first together, so that when young people get into relationships, they can say, you know what? He may not be where I want him to be now, but if he grows and I grow together, we can grow to build something dope. And I feel like that was important. Liv, you know me in college. I was not always like this. I was not always this transparent. I was not always this honest. I was selfish. I was egotistical. I had a big head. I had a lot of insecurities because I was trying to find myself. And I feel like a lot of these people who be like, dang, I would want to Devale. It's like, but would you want to Devale when he was 18? Would you want to Devale when he was 20? Would you want to Devale when he was 25? Because Kay dealt with all of those versions of Devale.
He was trying to stick it out. Like we
you remember.
Yes.
You remember?
At Hofstra, we saw it. And I thought
it was not. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy, and I wasn't the greatest guy all the time.
Y'all was
and I'm
partying.
willing to admit
Let me tell you, y'all, the football players was partying regularly.
Allegedly. Allegedly. But no,
C-Square Chronicles.
C-Square Chronicles.
Facts. Listen, I'm not going. I would be lying if I sat here and said that I was the ideal husband at 18. And I was the ideal boyfriend. Like, it's just unfair to put that expectation on anybody. Because you know what also happens to women? Women who get with a guy who's not perfect in the beginning start to feel like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I deserve to be with someone who is that mature at this point? And then they start to project all of other people's issues on themselves. And rather than saying, you know what, this person needs to grow up, they say, what's wrong with me? So I personally feel like it's unfair for people to feel like, okay, Kay got this guy now who is loving and mature and is attentive. And what did Kay do to deserve all of this from 18? I was not this guy always. Yeah. I had to learn. I'm honest in saying I just didn't know. I wasn't being an asshole on purpose. I really didn't know. I didn't even know I was being an asshole. I just thought I was living my life.
It's crazy because I mean, you know, like you guys, right? Me and my wife Tia, we've been together forever, and I think it's the same type of situation. Mm-hmm. You have younger couples that are like, yeah, I want to be like, yo, we went through some stuff, and I think that's the thing. You guys, like, you're on you're on social media heavy, you're on TV heavy. Everyone sees you guys together. Everyone's like couple goals, and I think you address it straight out, and I love that because you kind of tell them, hey, you see couple goals, but there's different things that make you guys couple goals. The stuff you're going through, I've heard you say that. It's the fight that you fight through in your relationships that make you couple goals too. So don't just look at us, but look at yourself and your relationship and your situation and your couple goals too. That's an important message,
bro. And that's a huge message because people want to put people on pedestals and idolize someone for being perfect. And the minute they make a mistake, it's like, oh, they can no longer be, a couple goals. For example, I remember when Jay-Z and Beyonce were couple goals. Mm-hmm. And then Beyonce dropped Lemonade album and people found out that Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. And out of nowhere, it's just like, oh, how could Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce? How could this happen? How could that happen? And it's just like, listen, they are humans like everybody else. When people are dating and people are learning to live with someone for the rest of their life, people are going to make choices. And there's my thing. I don't ever say that I made mistakes in my life. I made choices. I made selfish choices. I made choices that were for me at the time. I made choices that I thought would be for the betterment of us that I found out now that maybe that wasn't a good idea, but my perspective was viewed and it was skewed because I was young and I was narrow-minded. But I'm willing now to admit that those choices are part of the reason why Kay and I have a strong foundation. I don't want to ever shy away from letting people know that relationships are going to have ups and downs, Now, that don't mean you stay in a toxic situation and you let someone beat on you or you let someone abuse you, whether it mentally, physically, emotionally. That doesn't mean that you let someone just take advantage of you financially. But what I'm saying is that if you know that you chose someone who's ultimately going to choose you every morning and y'all are working to be better, work through whatever obstacles come through. That's my ministry for people. Don't expect someone to come to you, this ideal person, and the minute they mess up, you like, nope, I got to find someone else because you ain't going to find that. And then you're going to start feeling like, well, what's wrong with me? How come I don't deserve? And that's not just a woman thing. Men do that too. I got homeboys who are single and be like, yo, man, how come I can't find my Michelle? How come I can't find my Michelle Obama? Read Barack Obama's book. But read his book about how much Michelle put up with in his early 20s and how he did not know who he was and how he kept lying and making decisions for himself selfishly. It had nothing to do with infidelity, but how many selfish decisions he made that kind of forced her to put her career on the sideline and ask yourself if you would be willing to be with a Barack Obama in his 20s. Not President Barack Obama. I'm talking about the Barack Obama who was into drugs and alcohol and trying to figure out if he really wanted to be a lawyer. Ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? Ask yourself if you want to deal with that Michelle.
I feel like you're yelling at me right now. I feel attacked.
Nope, like I ain't putting up with that.
Don't feel attacked, Liv. Liv, don't feel attacked, Liv. Don't feel attacked.
Okay, I'm gonna let it go. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I
feel attacked.
I hear you.
Yeah. But, I mean, in all this therapy, it showed this strength. But are there ever moments where, like, right after the show, you and Kay get into it because something came up that you might have not even knew a detail and it's come out for the first time? Does it ever cause
hell yeah?
Absolutely.
That happens all the time. But here's the thing though. Stuff like that don't only happen on the show when we film in the show. Stuff like that happens at home. Like before I got on this, me and Kay were at the table having dinner by ourselves because dinner is important to us. We were at the table having dinner by ourselves, talking about what our dreams are for the next 5 years. Asking us, like, what is it do you want out of life? What is it that you didn't get out of the first 10 years of this marriage that you think that you want? And we having this conversation, me and her, and she's saying some things and I'm saying some things. And she like, well, what the fuck? Why you ain't say that? And I'm like, what are you getting an attitude for? I'm just being honest. At the time, I didn't know that I didn't even know how to say it, but now I'm saying it. But these things happen like right. Yo, y'all already know Kay Jamaican too. She Jamaican, so her mouth get crazy. And sometimes, sometimes it get heated in here. Then the kids poke their head out from around the corner and they just like, everything all right in here? And I'm like, yo, go to Mimi now. Go to Mimi. And like that stuff happens in this house first. So when it happens at the show, you should see our producers. We'll be doing a podcast. Then we start arguing during the podcast or after the podcast. And the producers just be like, just another Tuesday on Deadass. Like they so used to it. Like
But y'all good by Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we good by Wednesday because one thing I will tell you is that nothing makes your sex life better than arguing.
I knew it was going to go there
in the day. Like, yo, when you argue early in the day, but you get out how you really feel, and then you can look at her and you could be like, you know what you said triggered me early, and I got mad, but I could respect what you're saying because at least I know now.
There's no tape.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's no tape. There's nothing to hold me down right now. There's nothing to hold me down, so I nothing taped up. So you're gonna get this poke right now. So come here, shut all that up. Shut all that talking up.
No scripts.
Yeah, talk to me nice. No scripts. Talk to me nice, baby. Talk to me nice. That's what happens here. That's how we got all these kids.
Like honestly, I'm stuck.
I gotta ask you, man. Like with the podcast, it created another really stream for you, right? It's another business for you. Yeah. So what have you learned more about business by going into just another field to add to your collection?
I've learned that ownership has more value than a dollar, right? So let me tell y'all a little quick tip, bro. We left Stitcher to go to iHeartRadio. And we left Stitcher to go to iHeartRadio because iHeartRadio was giving us a bigger bag, number one, but they were also giving us ownership. Like, this is ours. Like, we get to own the name, own the rights, own everything. But with that comes a lot more responsibility. So we had to produce everything on our own. We had to pay for our own staff. We had to do all of that. And initially, when you think about they give you a bigger bag, there's also more expenses that come with that bigger bag. But I've learned in business, when you own something like this, you can make money through perpetuity. You know what I'm saying? So say, for example, the podcast is doing okay now. We're making money. Like, we're making very good money doing our podcast right now. But granted, 5 years from now, I become an A-list movie star and my podcast from years ago blow up because of my celebrity now. If someone else owned the right to that stuff, I can't make money off of it. They can, you know what I'm saying? They can take my platform and put it on another platform. They can take my content, put it on another platform and make money.
Yeah. We seen that with Chappelle.
I'd rather.
Yeah. I mean, he fixed that. He was lucky enough to have the power of the people. The people
absolutely
him. So he was able to fix that, but he wouldn't have been able to fix that if that wasn't the case.
No, you. One thing I've learned is you have to learn how to play the long game. They try to distract you in the beginning by throwing a little bit of money at you to make you feel comfortable. And I don't know if you ever heard this saying, but good is the enemy of great, right? If you go through life feeling like, oh, I'm good, you ain't gonna never be great at nothing because you always gonna be good. And the powers that be, the gatekeepers, always want to keep you good. Yo, let's make sure the talent is good. If the talent is good, we got control. I've learned to become comfortable being uncomfortable so that I can be great at something. So everything you see now with the podcast, every little piece of production, I got my hands on it. Is it a little bit more of a headache? Yes. Is it take more time? Does it cost more money? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's mine. I can pass it down to my kids. I can make my son an executive producer on my podcast. And when I die, if I become this super legend and people are listening to my podcast for years and years, my kids can make money off of that. It doesn't go to Stitcher. It doesn't go to iHeartRadio. It is going to be mine. And I've learned that ownership of anything, my video content, my podcast, my books, even my book. I got offers to do a bunch of book deals with big publishers, but I self-published my children's book with a small black publisher from East New York, Brooklyn. Shout out Brooklyn. Shout out McBride. There you go. Shout out McBride, Hedrick McBride. I self-published with him, and we own it. We own it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ours. We did that together, and I did that.
We were about to bring up the book next. Like, I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, what was the inspiration behind that?
It's funny. My son was the inspiration about me starting social media. Remember? Jackson, once again, was my inspiration with starting the book. Jackson came to me last year after Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. We were watching the Lakers about to start up again because the restart was happening. And LeBron James was wearing the Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Naomi Osaka had just won the U.S. Open. Oh, no, she had just started the U.S. Open, and she was wearing the mask with the names. And he's asked me the most profound question. He said, Daddy, why do we even have to say Black Lives Matter? Don't everybody know that? And I was like, wow, bro, like that's a profound question. But no, everybody don't know that. And then it made me realize, like, based on him going to school, he's not learning black history. He's not even learning American history.
Crazy.
He's learning a whitewashed version of history that's going to make people feel comfortable about American history. So I decided that I didn't want to teach him bigotry. I didn't want to teach him hatred. I just wanted to teach him facts. So I started from 1619, and I went from slavery to black codes to the lynchings. I went to redlining. I went to Jim Crow, mass incarceration, the war on drugs. I went through everything in American history that showed him that black lives have never mattered in this country. And the biggest thing is this. We came to this country in 1619. This country was founded and become free from Great Britain in 1776. When those founding fathers wrote the Constitution, black people were considered property and 3/5 of a human being. So how could we ever matter if we weren't even considered human? From the foundation. And that's just a fact, bro. Like that's not an opinion. That's not me saying, oh, white people don't like us. This is a fact. When this country was founded in 1776, black people were already enslaved and considered 3/5 of a human being and considered property. So every rule, every law, any legislation created for this country was not created for black people because we have never mattered. So since then, even when we were freed in 1865 and they went to the Vagrancy Act and they decided that, you know what, we're going to free all the slaves. But if you don't know how to read or write or own property, then you're considered a vagrant, which is a criminal. And the 13th Amendment says what? Slavery is illegal unless you're guilty of a crime. So now what you did was you criminalized being black in America so that you can continue to imprison us. Then you started convict leasing. What's convict leasing? Anyone who's a prisoner has to go work for public institutions for free. That's slavery by another name.
Yep.
Then you ended convict leasing and you started mass incarceration using the war on drugs. You militarized the police force and you showed people that, you know what? Let's put all these police in these black communities. Let's make crack cocaine a felony, even though powder cocaine was in this country way before crack cocaine, and make all the laws for crack cocaine way higher than powder cocaine. And then you militarize our communities and then you mass incarcerate our people. Once again, criminalizing the black experience, making us what? Criminals, slaves. And I explained all of this to my son, and Jackson was crying, and he was like, why? And I had to explain to him the truth. Like, America is a capitalist country built during the Industrial Revolution on the backs of slaves. We became a world power, Americans did, through slavery. Slavery was all about cheaper talent, cheaper workers. You want to maximize your dividends, you want to maximize your margins, you get cheap labor. And they need cheap labor in order to continue to be a superpower. So they use black people and they criminalize us and they marginalize us and they disenfranchise us to be able to keep being a superpower. That is a fact. Nobody can argue with me about that. It doesn't. I don't want to hear any Republicans say that systemic racism doesn't exist. That's all a lie. It is the facts. They criminalize us so that they can make money. I explained this to my son, and he understood it. And I feel like I did him a solid because now he understands what goes on in his country. So when things happen, he's a little bit more prepared. When he comes across a cop or an authority figure and they acting funny, he's not caught off guard like, hey, we're all equal. No, he understands the history of this country. I know I'm a black kid, so I know how you view me. I know what your purpose is. Call my dad. I'm not talking to you. I'm not going to argue with you. Call my pops. That's ultimately what made me want to write this children's book, because I wanted to arm him with the tools to be able to understand why racism exists in this country. And I wanted to be able to give it to everybody, not just black kids, not just white kids or Hispanic kids. I want everybody to live in this country to understand the difference between model minorities and black people, and why we have to say Black Lives Matter, and why the whole people of color thing tends to get black people pissed, because we have been targeted since the dawn of civilization. And we have to continue to say Black Lives Matter because of the way this country's built.
Yeah. And I still feel like, there's so many people that still don't believe or understand why we have to say it so much. You've been on Good Morning America. You've been live with Stephen A. Smith, just stating your purpose of the book, as well as saying why it's so important for us to keep saying Black Lives Matter. Have you received any backlash from being so hard hitting with your stance?
Right as of right now, no. I haven't received any backlash, but I will say this: I've lost a couple people on Instagram who've unfollowed me. Who says that I used to like you because you were funny. This isn't funny anymore. And I realized that some of those people who were following me just wanted to laugh at me. They didn't want to hear my truth or my pain. They just wanted me to be entertainment for them. And it's cool that you unfollow. I don't really give a shit, because you really want to follow me for the right reasons anyway. But I do also understand that covert racism runs a lot deeper in this country than overt racism. And I may not feel the effects of it now, but as my star continues to grow, there may be some people who don't want to work with me because they don't like my messaging, and I'm cool with that. One thing about ownership is that you could never stop me from providing for my family, because I own my content. I never feel like I have to be, quote unquote, a slave to any industry, because I make my own money. So if people want to not hire me or not work with me, or feel like I'm too hard nosed when it comes to certain topics, then they could kiss my ass. Like, I really don't care. Like, I've watched so many powerful black men choose this way and continue to be who they wanted to be because of it. And I'd rather follow in those footsteps than follow behind someone who just straddles the fence, and is never an ally to the people who support him the most. Because one thing I'll tell you about black people support me. Black people support me. So I'm never going to turn my back on black people. Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
As we shouldn't, especially in these times, especially with everything that transpired. And we're just focusing on May through August, September of 2020, just within that time frame of what we experience as black people. Like, there shouldn't be anybody to say anything when a black person with a platform speaks out on racism in this country.
Well, it's always going to be an issue, because anyone who speaks up for black empowerment is considered a target. They're considered a detriment to America. They're considered a detriment to white supremacy. And if you look at during the 60s, right? Did you guys watch Judas and the Black Messiah?
I haven't watched it yet. I gotta get to it.
Listen, when you get an opportunity to watch Judas and the Black Messiah, or if you're even staying up on what's happening with the Malcolm X case and how now the NYPD and the FBI, they're now having officers who admitted that they were involved in a conspiracy to assassinate Malcolm X. It shows you that if you speak up for black empowerment, even if you don't speak up for violence, if you just speak up for black empowerment, you become public enemy number one. That's just, it's never going to be accepted in this country because the vast majority of the people in power, now this is important, not the vast majority of people, but the vast majority of the people in power, the 1%, are still older white men who grew up in a time where black people were second-class citizens, do not want to hear us speak about our own empowerment. Because what that does is that challenges their way of life. And if it challenges their way of life and they have to accept this rhetoric, they have to accept like, damn, I have been given an advantage living here because of my whiteness and my maleness. And then once you admit that, you have to put things in place to change it. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to find vehicles and find ways to try to eliminate those people who speak like that. And this is white supremacy 101. People worry about the KKK, but there was another group and it was filled with white women who went to all the schools in the South, right? And got them to change the curriculum to obliterate all of the heinous things that white Americans have done to black people in this country. It's the sister, I can't remember it, and it's pissing me off that I can't remember it, but I'm going to let you guys know it's the Sisterhood of something. But they actually went to all of the school boards and they controlled the curriculum in the country. That's why all of the textbooks are whitewashed, because they eliminated all of the things that showed blatant white supremacy. For example, the simple fact in Texas now that they don't talk about slavery is called indentured servitude.
Crazy.
Like, are you kidding me,
Crazy.
bro? Like,
Crazy.
These are the things that's happening, and it's been happening for hundreds of years. Like, it's been happening for hundreds, and I don't think it's ever going to stop happening. Listen, I hope that if there's one thing my kids learn in my lifetime is that as long as you own your own stuff and you're willing to go, step out front and be on the front lines to push your own message, no one can control you. They can try to hurt you, but as long as you continue to step out front and you keep your message the same and you represent for the people who support you, they cannot control you. And then Dave Chappelle showed us the best, and I'm always going to lean on him. Tyler Perry. Like, people can say what they want to say about Tyler Perry, but that man is a billionaire. And he only placates to his black audience. He don't do stuff for white people. He don't.
Only for us.
That's it. It's for us. And he don't ever get recognized at award shows, the Emmys, the Oscars. He never gets not nominated. He never gets represented or awarded. But you know what? He don't care. You know what he does? He continues to build, bring in his money, and pay it forward. That man has paid for so many people to buy property and go to college, and he does it without anybody knowing. Like, he's not in the forefront saying, look at me, look at what I'm doing. But I'm there at the studio, so I see it. Like, I'm there. Like, I'm speaking to the grips. I'm speaking to people, and I'm hearing the stories about, yeah, Tyler gave me my down payment for my first house. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, don't say anything. They don't want, he don't want people talking about it. But yeah, he gave me my down payment. He just asked me, bro. And I'm like, people be trying to bash Tyler Perry, but he's really putting his money where his mouth is. Like, he's really doing things for people. And he's one of the main people that told me, D, it's all about ownership. That's why I do the things I do for people. That's why I do the things I do for people, because if more black people own land, we can control our own sovereign nation. Like, we can have our own nation and we can do things for each other. And I'm like, see, that gave me a vision to do things bigger than just making money for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what all of this is for. Like, I want to be able to create something that people remember, way beyond when I'm going.
And probably not even thinking about what he's doing with, creating Tyler Perry Studios. And I mean, from the jump, the Medea series at the Beacon Theater, and doing theater tours with Medea, and building from there, and building his own TV shows, and now building his own studio where he has a plethora of different shows and movies, understanding the rotation of the black dollar with that. Yes, the black people are seeing these faces and they're investing in it, and he's able to provide this equity for these black faces that you're seeing. So now he's inspiring you to do the same thing, and we're continuing the rotation of the black dollar. Yeah.
Now, Liv, what you just said is so important, right? Because I think they did a study of how long the black dollar lasts in the black community. And I think it was something like the black dollar lasts, I think it was 5% as long in the black community as it does in any other community, right? And I think they gave an example, especially with everything that's going on now, with the government saying that they were going to pay reparations to black people, right? And they were saying, you know why people don't care about giving black people reparations? You know what black people are going to do with that money? Give it right back to other communities. Because if we don't own anything, we pay rent here. We buy foreign clothes here. We buy foreign cars. If we get money, the first thing we're going to do is stunt and give that money back. But I'm telling you, when I'm at Tyler Perry Studios and I am watching all of these black people and all of these young black actors and these extras and these grips and these producers and these hair and makeup and the security, these are all black people who now this money Tyler Perry gets, he pays all of them. He pays all of them. And a lot of them who, if they're good people, he will give them a bonus and help them and be like, yo, like, you looking to buy a house, how much?
That's right. You don't get that everywhere.
Like,
you
don't.
Nowhere.
Like, and he owns, bro, his studio is larger than all the major movie studios in the country combined. Bigger than Warner Brothers, bigger than Paramount. He's big, all of them. He's bigger than all of them. It's like Disney World, bro. It's amazing to be there. I'm telling you. If you are about black empowerment, come to Tyler Perry Studios and just see what it is. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, yo.
You can tour it?
I gotta find out if they do tours there, but I know at one point they were doing tours when they first opened up, but I know COVID kind of shut things down. But you might cry. Like, you seriously might, because he built it right by the airport in the hood. Like, that part of Atlanta, and he did it on purpose. He said he built it there so that those people in those areas can look up and see. This is Fort McPherson. This was once a Confederate Army base. A Confederate Army base that was owned by white people to stop black people from being free slaves is now owned by one black man. Like,
I wish more people knew that. I mean, you're saying it now and people will hear this episode, but like, that needs to be proclaimed from the rooftops. Like, do y'all need to understand what you're seeing here, what you're experiencing, what you're witnessing?
Crazy.
And they would support so much harder.
Now, one big thing too is that, as we speak about, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? And he's created a way to work through it, right? While we're hearing about Hollywood being shut down, right? Here's this place that you speak of where people can still make art. So what was it like even recording through the pandemic, and what is it like now? What is the vibe there, since it's the place to be to record anything right now?
And I'm trying to remain humble in my blackness, right? But the whole entire industry was waiting for us to film this season to see how it was going to get done. SAG did not give anybody any approvals to work on any series. We were the first series to go back to filming. Now, Zendaya and John David Washington did film Malcolm and Marie before we filmed, but that was a two people in a home. It was different than 350 people coming to set to film a series. So we were the first series to go back, and after we were approved, then SAG started to approve everyone else. But let's be honest, and this is where I say I'm trying to be humble in my blackness, right? Why are most of the inventions in this country done by black people? You want to know why? Black people always had to do the work. We were the slaves. We created shit to make shit easier for us. But why did a black man create the cotton gin? Because we had to pick the fucking cotton.
And they call it ghetto.
It's always ghetto until a white person. You see, I'm glad you said that, Liv, because it's always ghetto until a white person gets it, puts a bow on it, and then it's amazing. Then it's brilliant. No, black people have always been innovative. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is who we are. Being a part of that, I had so much pride last season doing this series, because I'm like, yo, when they go back in history and talk about who was the first production to go back to create content during a pandemic, is going to be Tyler Perry's sisters. The first production. I'm proud of that. And I swear to God, I try my hardest to stay humble in my blackness.